Okay, good morning. This is Mr. Smith, and we're going to do a review of variables on both sides because you have had this land before. This probably be a second or third. So we're going to go a couple of questions and review terms, then you'll be practicing on your own. Okay, let's look at the vocabulary. We should all understand the vocabulary: simplify, solve equation, linear terms, like terms, distributed property, positive, negative, and variable. Those are definitions you should already know. So let's just look and read with me as I read aloud. Brandon and Carla are debating how to solve an equation with variables on both sides. They both found a solution, but only one method is correct. Who should win the debate? Now, let's look and see what Brandon did, which I have seen some of y'all do. Brandon simply added the like terms. They combined like terms by grouping on each side. So they grouped 3x and 2x and got 5x, 8 plus 12 and got 20, like so down here, and then 5 divided 5, then divided 5 by both sides and got 4. Now we know this is incorrect because if I bring that 2x over here, I have to do the inverse operation. So we can't combine like terms cross the equal sign. We have to do inverse operation, which is why Carla did it correct with the balancing. And that's pretty much how you should be working out your problem. Well, I like Carla did. Carla says to keep the equation balanced by subtracting on both sides. She moved the 2x, and that's what y'all need to remember to do. Always move the smallest variable. You see the 3x and 2x? You always move the smallest coefficient. So we moved the 2x, which means we need to do the inverse operation. Subtract 2x from both sides, and you're left with x plus 8. Remember that x is also 1x. And then x plus 8 equals 12. So then you need to subtract. That's a one-step equation. Subtract 8 from both sides, and then you're left with x equals 4. So Carla works it out the correct way. So as we go back over here, I need you to pull out your notes. You should have your notes out. And you're going to model these two problems, number 2 and number 3. So I'll give you time to get your notes out, make sure ready. Everything should already have be Cornell notes set up. All right, so write down the problem. 8x minus 5 equals 3x minus 10. Say to yourself, what is the first step? I'll give you a second. Okay, the first step is to move the smallest variable to the other side. So we want to move the smallest coefficient. So we got to locate the coefficients. 8x and 3x. And you ask yourself which one is smaller, and we all know that it's 3x. Now, where you all get confused at, you look at this minus sign and say, okay, I need to subtract 3x from both sides. Which could be the case this time, which is true, but we're actually looking at just the 3x and doing the opposite of the 3x. That's a positive 3x, so I am going to minus 3x. So I will subtract 3x from both sides. This cancels out my 3x, which leaves me with 5x minus 5 equals negative 10. You have to put down everything that's left over. Only the 3x cancels out. 8x minus 3x is 5x. The minus 5 is left over, bring it down. The minus 10 is left over, bring it down. And then you're left with 5x minus 5 equals negative 10. Now you have a two-step equation. Can you guess what we do next? I'll give you a second. Correct. We add 5 to both sides. Another part where you guys get confused. The 5's cancel out, but right here, you have a negative 10 plus 5. You need to go to your adding integers rule. The signs are different. You subtract, take the sign of the largest number. 10 minus 5 is 5. The largest digit is negative, so it's negative 5. This cancels out, so you should have 5x equals negative 5. Now you have a one-step equation. This is a multiplication problem. 5x equals negative 5 is a multiplication problem. So then you need to divide 5 by both sides. And then you're left with x equals -1. If you notice, that's -5 divided by 5, the signs are different. Your answer is negative. All right, let's model number 3. All right, so you have 4x. You need to write this down. These are two models you're going to use. 4x plus 5 equals 6x minus 9. Which is the smallest variable or the smallest coefficient? Correct, 4x. So that 4x is what we need to move. And you're not looking at the plus, you're looking at the actual 4x. And it is a positive, so I know I'm going to subtract that 4x from both sides to cancel it out. All right, once I do that, the 4's cancel out, and I'm left with the 5. Bring that plus 5 down, and then 6x minus 4x is 2x. Then bring that minus 9 down. All right, so I have 5 equals 2x minus 9. Now I have a simple two-step equation. So what would be the next step? I'll give you a second. Yes, you're going to add 9 to both sides. The 9's will cancel out, and that will leave you with 2x equals 14. This is a one-step equation. This is a multiplication problem. The opposite of multiplication is division. So I divide 2 by both sides, and I'm left with x equals 7. So this is a quick refresher for you. So what I want you to do, make sure you model those, and then now you're going to practice on your own. So I have a couple of problems I want you to practice. Now, I want you to practice 6 through 11 in your notes. Make sure you work those problems out just like we worked out in our presentation with these problems. Just like we worked out those. Work them out the same way like you wrote in your notes. You're doing exercises 6 through 11. When you finish that, you will go to the tiny URL that I have on the board and practice online. So this whole time is for practice. Make sure you're quiet and take your time, and remember to move the smallest variable. Thank you.